Hey guys, it's Michael. Today's your Friday, May 8th, stimulus check and stimulus package update. Today we have a lot of important information to go over. We're going to start off with key financial and economic news, then into the second round of stimulus checks, PPP and EIDL loan, and finally the first round of stimulus checks. So if you have not yet received your stimulus check and you're getting worried or you're frustrated about it, well then be sure to stick around until the very end where I go over specific timelines of when you can expect to receive your stimulus check. Anyways, before we get started, it says that 95% of you watching this video are not subscribed to my channel. So if you like to stay up to date on the stimulus checks, on the stock market, on how to make money in general, then please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Anyways, let's get right into it and let's go over the key financial and economic news. Reports from Wall Street say that 77% of laid off US workers believe that when the coronavirus is over, they'll be able to return to their jobs. But a lot of economists and a lot of people are saying this isn't true. There's going to be over 40% of these job losses that could become permanent. So if you recently lost your job, you shouldn't expect that you'll be able to get it once this is over. A lot of companies are having to file for bankruptcy and are going out of business because they simply can't sustain not being able to bring in any revenue for months. So the longer this goes on, the less likely you'll be able to return to your job. So just keep an eye out for that. The unemployment report for April just came out a couple of minutes ago, and the numbers are just not good. They're not good at all. The only comparable numbers you could see in US history are during the Great Depression nearly 100 years ago. So US unemployment hit 14.7% in April, and 20.5 million people applied for unemployment in April alone. To put that into perspective, during the 2008 and 2009 recession, the whole recession, there was 8.7 million people who filed for unemployment. And then just in 1 month, in April alone, there was 20.5 million people who filed for unemployment. So that's almost 3 times as many people. It's more than double that applied in 1 month alone than all of the last recession. And on top of this, if anything, this report probably understates unemployment right now because the government's definition of unemployment typically requires people to be actively searching for work, which people can't all be doing right now. And also, the unemployment rate doesn't reflect that millions of people have seen their hours cut or wages cut, because right now a lot of people may still be working, but their wages and hours have been cut, and this doesn't reflect that. In addition to this, in yesterday's unemployment report, there were over 3.2 million people who filed for unemployment last week. To put that into perspective, in the worst week in the 2008 and 2009 recession, there was 800,000 people who filed for unemployment. So that's mind-boggling to think. 3.2 million people filed last week. And last week hasn't even been our worst week. The worst week was earlier in March, and that was over 6.9 million people in 1 week. So while we are slowly decreasing the number of people that are filing for unemployment, 3.2 million people is still an insane amount. Now let's move on to states and states reopening. Over 50% of the states in the US have reopened in some form or another. Not all of them have opened up completely, but a lot of them have began to open up. But the one thing is that most of the states starting to reopen actually failed to meet the criteria that Trump laid out in the Opening Up America Again plan. In this plan, it says you need to have a downward trajectory of cases, but this isn't the case. Across the US, there's 1,750 deaths per day, and according to a White House projecting model, it says they're going to go up to 3,000 deaths per day by the end of the month. And on top of this, there's 25,000 cases announced every single day, and based on the same model, it says it'll be over 200,000 cases a day by the end of the month. So this is not a good sign, because if cases are still increasing and states are starting to open up, well, that does not seem like a good plan. Anyways, now let's get into the new stimulus check and the second stimulus package. A lot of you guys have been asking questions about, is there a second stimulus check? When am I getting it? Has it been passed? So as of right now, there is no official second stimulus package or second stimulus check. They're currently debating one, and as of a report yesterday, the House Democrats are putting their final touches on a massive stimulus bill that should be announced early next week. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But as of right now, there is no official second stimulus package. However, more reports came out yesterday of what's going to be included in this second stimulus package. So let me go over those really quickly. The bill being drafted is supposed to have more than $750 billion in aid for state and local governments. And there's also supposed to be another round of direct support for Americans. That was the quote. So direct support means more stimulus checks in our hands. Other government officials involved are saying that they are interested in expanding unemployment benefits even longer. So right now we have that additional $600 per week unemployment benefit that goes to everyone on top of their state unemployment benefits. So they're talking about extending these and keeping these going on even longer. I made a video on that yesterday if you'd like to check it out. And then also in this bill, House Democrats have been talking about increasing access for coronavirus testing, send money toward vote-by-mail programs and the Postal Service, provide safety protections for frontline workers so they don't get sick, the people who have been continuing to work, and then finally want to expand access to broadband. They say with a lot of people working at home and going to school from home, they want to make it easier to access broadband in remote and rural areas. So basically, as of right now, the House Democrats are putting a plan together for a second stimulus package. The Republicans, their main concern that they've been saying is that if money goes to state and local governments, they want to make sure it's being used for coronavirus-related issues. The Republicans currently aren't putting a plan together in the Senate. They're sort of letting the House Democrats put that together. But I'll keep you guys updated when new information comes out. Moving on, let's get into the PPP and EIDL program. Business owners who received loans through the Payment Protection Program, the PPP program, now have until May 14th to return their money. So if you received money from the Payment Protection Program and you decided that you do not want it, they extended this deadline called the Safe Harbor. So that means you can return the money and nothing will happen. So if you decide you don't need it anymore, you can go ahead and return it. You don't have any fees, any taxes, nothing on that money. But anyways, one important thing to keep in mind is that if you received a loan through the Payment Protection Program, after 8 weeks, you're going to need to apply for forgiveness on that loan. So they had all of these criteria that you had to meet, where 75% had to go to payroll, 25% could go to something else. You have to make sure you meet all of these criteria, and then when you apply, everything should be okay. But remember, after 8 weeks, you're going to have to apply for forgiveness. And once you apply, you'll hear from them within 60 days after applying. Moving on, is the PPP loan is almost out of all of its funding. So if you want to apply for the PPP program, make sure to do it today, because earlier in the week, they said there's $175 billion spent already in the $310 billion fund. So if you want to apply, make sure to do it now, because it probably will run out either today or early next week. So make sure to do that. Next up is the EIDL loan. I got a couple of questions saying that you applied. Why haven't you heard back yet? So once you applied, there's nothing else you can do to speed up the process. However, if you have not applied, the application is currently open. Anyone can go ahead and apply, but right now, according to the SBA, they say they're only accepting agricultural businesses. The application is open for everyone, but they say it's only accepting agricultural businesses. And this is the $1,000 to $10,000 cash grant, those loan advances that are forgivable. Anyways, now let's get into the first round of stimulus checks, the $1,200 stimulus check. I know that a lot of you guys are getting frustrated and are getting worried because you have not yet received it. So let's go over a couple of questions that you guys have asked, and then after that, we'll go into some of the timelines. So first is that it can take up to 2 weeks for your stimulus check to arrive in the mail. At this point, a lot of people are starting to get worried because it says on the portal that they should be receiving a stimulus check in the mail and that it was already mailed out, but they haven't received it. So if you have not received it, just remember, it could take up to 14 days for the check to arrive in the mail. Next up is if you received the wrong amount. I've been getting a lot of questions saying, I didn't receive the $500 for my dependent, or I received the wrong amount, or the amount was sent to the wrong location, it was deposited into the wrong bank account. But with any errors, there is good news, because within 14 days after receiving your stimulus check, you should be getting a letter in the mail from the IRS explaining how much money you got, where the money went to, and how to report any errors. So in this letter, you'll go ahead and be able to report the errors that either you received the wrong amount, the money was sent to the wrong location, and you'll be able to follow the steps in this letter. Next up is for SSI and VA benefit recipients. I've been seeing a lot of comments down below how you guys have not yet received your stimulus check. According to the IRS, on their most recent press release for SSI and VA benefit recipients, it says that you guys should be expecting to receive your stimulus check in mid-May. And all of you guys are asking me, Michael, what does mid-May mean? When is mid-May? I don't know when mid-May is, but according to the IRS, they've said mid-May. In my mind, that means the 10th to the 20th, but to them, it could mean something different, and based on how everything is going, it seems like it's probably going to take a little longer than that. But according to their exact words, it says mid-May. So I wish I could provide you a date, but I simply can't. Moving on, let's go into Social Security disability retirement survivors as well as railroad retirement benefit recipients. So a lot of you guys have gotten frustrated because it said that you were going to receive your stimulus check on April 30th, last week, and you have not yet received it. So according to the IRS, they say that the stimulus checks have started to be sent out to these benefit recipients, but that they are continuing to send more out each day. So if you have not yet received it, Don't worry, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be receiving a stimulus check. It just means that the IRS is still processing your information, still working on sending these out. And you may be wondering, well, how can they still be processing my information? Don't they already have it? I receive my benefit payments each month. The one thing to keep in mind is that your benefit payments that you receive each month are completely different than the stimulus checks. The stimulus checks come from the IRS and they're sent to everyone. Your benefit payments come from your individual government agency, so they're not related at all. Moving on is for non-filers. According to the IRS, there is no specific date of when non-filers should be expecting to receive their stimulus check. All you can do is use the non-filers tool. Once you submit your information there, we just have to wait until the IRS processes your information and uploads it into the system. The good news though is that once they process your information, you should be able to check the Get My Payment tool and it'll tell you a date for when you could expect to receive your stimulus check. And good news is that with paper stimulus checks, they're sending them out to the lowest level of income individuals first. So once they process it, you should be getting it fairly soon. And then finally is a question that people have been asking me who have a Direct Express or NetSpend card. So if you have Direct Express or NetSpend, well, there is no specific date on when you're expected to receive your stimulus check. It only goes with what benefits you receive. So if you receive SSI and you have a Direct Express, well then you'll receive it with SSI. If you have SSDI and you have Direct Express, well you'll receive it when SSDI, because the way the stimulus checks works is that you'll receive your stimulus check in the same method that you normally receive your benefit payments. So if you receive it on a Direct Express card, on direct deposit, a check in the mail, that's how you will receive your stimulus check. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to leave any comments you have down below within the first hour of me posting this, and I'll try and answer every single one of those. Don't forget to check out our links down below and join our Power of Finance Investors group, as well as our Discord group community chat. Get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you sign up for the Webull Investing app. All you have to do is download the app. It takes 5 minutes or less, and when you deposit $100 into your account, you'll receive 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. Also get 1 free stock when you download Robinhood. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.